Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Fangs the Fantasy, our third episode of 2015, our weekly podcast where we discuss urban fantasy, books, films, TV shows, computer games, and anything else we get our grubby little hands on, all through our social justice lens. As ever, your hosts are me, Paul, and Renee. Hello, Renee.
Hello, Paul.
We've had a week of season finales, which is a weird time of year for that, so I'm just going to say Americans right here.
It's not as bad as you think. It really isn't.
Mid-season finale in January. What the hell?
Well, I mean, they decided to split out Lost Girl to drag it out, right? I think that they're reluctantly canceling Lost Girl.
Well,
and that's why what happened. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a reluctant ending to the season, and that's why it's being dragged out.
Yep. So, let's run in with Lost Girl to begin with, then.
Okay. A big pile of I don't care. I'm sorry. Yeah, I still don't. I still don't really care. I think that Tamsin is really petulant.
Mm-hmm.
How many thousands of years old is she?
Ancient.
I don't buy it. They've left her with zero self-respect and the personality of a pendulum. Swing one way, swing the other. Swing one way, swing the other.
Yeah, she's so changeable and she seems so distracted, particularly since we're dealing with, end of the world level issues here. And here's Tamsin going, oh, whoa, Bo doesn't love me. No, who cares about you? Now, I understand. It is an extreme insult to know that Bo fell for Raina, but still doesn't apparently find Tamsin intriguing. That is harsh. But
yeah.
Priorities. Getting some.
Yeah, maybe just a little, right?
I still have a sense of almost pity for the writers of this season because the last season left them with such a hot mess to put together, and that's almost why I feel that they're trying to cobble together this Greek mythology out of nowhere, because the Norse, I mean, it was always going to be Norse with Lost Girl. Norse. We had Valkyries, we had Odin, we had the Ravens, it was all Norse. Mm-hmm. And they made such a pig's ear of the last season and the Norse mythology in it, that I think almost like the writers of this season went, yeah, let's pretend that didn't happen. Greeks!
Here's Zeus!
Exactly, and you can tell it's shredding it, because here's Zeus saying, oh, I'm the representative of many head pantheons, including Odin. It's like, wait, what? But no! You who did Odin last season. Are you just going to pretend that didn't happen?
Yes, that's what they're going to do.
But I did like her point that, A, come in many forms, and B, yeah, she's a woman, but of course the Greeks wrote her as a man. Why wouldn't they? It's a sexist, misogynist society. Of course they would.
I did really like that point.
Mm-hmm. What I don't
like
is Iris. Since she now remains as the only character of colour left in Lost Girl, and they've made her super powerful, but they've also denied her all agency with that power. She's either a manipulated tool of Zeus and Hera, or she's a dark, dire, almost impersonal, uncontrollable threat, less an antagonist and more a disease that needs controlling. And that need for control is then justified her being restrained to the bed and controlled by Hera. And she's just a toxic soup of bad tropes. No agency, no control, a terrible, dangerous threat.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're trying to parallel her to Bo, almost like they're setting up for a weird spin-off, really. Look, that's what it feels like. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, Bo still has to be the chosen one, right?
Yeah. Oh, so, that was amazing. We went to a party. Oh my god, it's a surprise party all about Bo. I'm sorry, is anybody surprised by this?
No, not really. It's always got to be all about Bo and how extra special she is.
Mm-hmm.
On the line, succubus.
And what's with this complete rewriting of Hades? I mean, is he a good guy now? can we make a decision? And also, like, it's your heart's desire to be free from her father. Excuse me, it is season 5. Until season 4, she didn't even know she had a father. So
Well,
what's this heart desire come from?
I'm actually very sick of the whole fatherhood thing. I mean, the only thing that made me go, is that Eric Roberts is playing Hades.
Yeah.
Right? And he'll do something interesting with it. They got a good B actor, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he'll do something interesting with the role.
Pardon me. I'm just kind of bemused. Again, it's the cobbled nature of the season. It seems to have come from nowhere. Bo's sudden obsession with her father is... It's just like, well, where did it come from?
Well, they have to give her something to fixate on, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm not a lover of Baby Wolf. I'm getting very tired of Mini Wolf.
Well, the only thing... So gave him yet another straight sex scene.
Yeah, and at the same time you've got Vex crawling after him.
I don't like this. Just put him and Vex together or let it die. Mm-hmm. One of the two. You know? Because yes. Either put him and Vex together or let it die.
Yeah.
Because he's not interesting. He's not interesting.
So, and this is the problem I'm having. He's not an interesting character on his own. And I was intrigued that, they're aiming for the first regular male-male relationship in this show. And then in this case of, well, no, you're actually just kind of having Vex crawl after him. And I'm wondering if it's like, are they going to do one of those? I mean, I don't think Lost Girl would do it because they have so much LGBT representation. But there is a habit of, let's tuck in look, here's our LGBT representation in the last season, in like episode 9 out of 13, which they've extended it, Sanctuary did it. It looks like Atlantis is going to do it, which I'm bitter about.
Yeah,
Constantine's trying to pull it off.
No, Constantine isn't I don't... It's not pulling it off. It's not even trying to pull it off.
But it's teasing on Twitter.
It may be teasing, but if you blink, you missed it. Yeah. And I know because I missed it.
Exactly.
I don't think it's something that they should be ambivalent about, especially given that Lost Girls has such a large LGBT fan base and always has been.
Exactly. So it's case of
unless they think they're going to set off some war between lesbians and gay men.
But I mean, if they hadn't had the portrayal, I don't think anyone would have complained. And if they are going to have the portrayal, do it right. I mean, they've done it before, and frankly, the portrayal of gay and bisexual men in the show has been pretty poor. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine there being a war because Vex and Mini-Me and Mini-Wolf become a couple, because they are pretty secondary.
Yes,
it's not like they're going to take lots of attention.
My feeling is let those two go off and have their own show.
Yeah, that would be fun. But they have to give Mini-Me Mini-Wolf an actual personality, but...
Beyond, I'm young and rebellious, and aren't I sexy?
Yeah, and also then he turns around and goes, is he rebelling against Dyson, or is he playing Baby Wolf who desperately wants to be accepted by Dyson and prove himself to Dyson? Because he doesn't seem to quite know.
He doesn't know. It changes from moment to moment. I don't even know why he was brought along. For what purpose?
No idea.
Other than, okay, we're going to bring him along so that he can be attacked.
Yeah, I'm not quite... I also didn't get that one, so everyone's saying, oh my god, the most powerful of you is with the weakest of us. That's so terrible. We must go save him. No, you know what? He was always vastly weaker than her, even when you didn't realise Iris had the power to kill things with touch. I don't understand.
Well, that's just it. If they were concerned about his weakness, why did they put him in that position to begin with?
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't matter if if Iris is more powerful than Zeus and Hera. She was already so much more powerful than Mark anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. So does it matter if he's fighting a grizzly bear or a polar bear?
It doesn't really. Also, I don't really like the infantilization of Iris. Did you see what they had her wearing this week?
Yeah, she's very. This entire everything about Iris is that she's childlike and helpless with no agency, yet at the same time a dangerous, terrible threat. I'd actually prefer
Yeah.
it if she were an evil antagonist and just deal with it. At least then she'd have, motives and reason and action.
Mhm.
But instead, she's just this child, this pet almost.
Yeah, it really is a case of shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't. I mean, I suppose it's a new approach for Lost Girl's treatment, but I think it makes her vulnerable. And they're saying, yes, she's the most powerful, but she's still so infantilized that she's
Yeah.
vulnerable, leaving her there to be saved. And in comes our super powerful chosen one white lady to save the day. It's a problem given Lost Girl's treatment of people of color.
Mm-hmm.
You
It,
know.
it is a real problem here. And it's like they've made her the most powerful, but she doesn't get to own that power.
Not even remotely.
So yeah, I'm not. Mm, I'm not really following it, and I'm not really enjoying it. And I just don't know where it's going to go from here. And it's just going left, right, and centre so often. I'm not even trying to guess anymore because I can't predict. There's no point in predicting because anything is subject to change. Almost anything.
Mhm.
And it makes me just not particularly invest in the series because it feels made up as it's going along. And I think it's more because we're trying to put together the train wreck of the last season than anything else. But still,
Mhm. Mhm.
we have a problem. And I think it
Yes,
is
indeed we
about
do.
time. Part of me is still going to be really sad when Lost Girl ends, but at the same time, it's kind of, it's maybe time.
I stopped investing in the show some time ago, so it's kind of like just get it over and done with. And I understand why, given the fact that I don't believe that we're currently watching any other shows with LGBT protagonists.
I don't think we're actually.
Canon. That's
Yeah.
important to know because there is Da Vinci's Code, a demon story, and he should be gay but he's not, and Constantine, who should be bisexual but he's not. So we're not really watching any shows, I think, with any LGBT protagonists in canon. And
Hmm.
it's Lost Girl, whatever else you may say about it, at least managed to accomplish that for several years.
Yeah. I don't think we're even watching any shows with any really major GBLT characters. And not until Defiance comes back.
And Donna the Awesome.
Yeah. Defiance, Orphan Black, Penny Dreadful, and Dominion. But all of them have problems. But that is the closest. And even Defiance, I think most of the relationships is still going to be focused male female.
Mm-hmm.
Dominion has the plotting lesbians in the background. Yeah, there's not a lot there. So yeah, I did cling to Lost Girl, particularly now In the Flesh has been cancelled.
Don't. I'm still so sad.
Oh, aren't I just?
I don't understand it. I mean, it was gut wrenching, but it was so heads and tails above so much else. You
Hmm.
know? And I remember, like, we want you to hurt. We want you to feel pain. And you just sat there going, ugh, how much more are you going to rip my heart out? But it was good.
It was
And of
powerful, and
course
they're
it's
going to replace
canceled.
it with reality TV.
Unfortunately, that's always the way it seems.
Ugh. But yeah, so Lost Girl, unfortunately, it needs to go.
Hmm. Onward?
Onward to two other things which needs to go. American Horror Story has finished.
Yay! I feel like I deserve a cookie for surviving the season. This pointless rambling season. I feel, yeah, I want an award.
hmm And even aside from the social justice awfulness, which is terrible and awful and completely, I can't even begin to say how horrendous it is. Just from a writing point of view, this series was terrible. We just constantly threw in random. There's no storyline here. There's just random stuff. There was Chester and his doll, 2 episodes of nonsense. There
The
was
clown.
Bandy who came in and out. There was the clown who came in at the beginning and then went away. There was Mordrake who came in for a couple of episodes before finally remembering existing came back. We had Penny, the lizard girl, who had like a sort of storyline and then nope, was gone. And there's what is happening here?
It was, I'm throwing shit at the wall, and you're gonna take it. Because nothing stuck.
Exactly. It was just literally throwing stuff out there. Hey, throw this, throw this, throw this, throw this, throw this. And
I think anyone would be hard pressed to say there was a clear and coherent plot this season. There simply was not.
there wasn't.
I think it's the most disorganized of any season of American Horror Story.
It was completely out there. Even Coven was better than this.
Yeah, it was a case of, oh my goodness, they're still giving us some seasons, let's just make some stuff up.
Yeah, and
What can we do that's horror, essentially?
And what's with all the musical numbers? I know Glee is ending, but tough. Get over
it. You know what? This was worse than the constant Joni Mitchell references.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. The Stevie Nicks.
Oh, sorry, Stevie Nicks. Did I say Joni Mitchell? Stevie Nicks. Yeah, I'd rather listen. Thunder always happens when it's raining. To her sing any more David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
It
was, yeah.
It was painful, and I kept thinking, has Bowie ever seen this? Is he in as much pain as I am?
It was not good. I mean, seriously, who sat down and said, you know what this show needs? Lots and lots of David Bowie covers in a German accent.
Yeah, it was just so horrible. I mean, she can act, but she can't sing, so let's not have her do that. Or at least dub it. Dub it.
Let's not do this again. I'm actually going to say something which it didn't do well, but I think it came close. In almost approaching, and that is, I quite liked the whole idea that it did touch on some of the nuances of freak shows. And this is something I touched on at the very beginning. I wondered if they do it, and they did do it. Not in as much detail, but we did cover how it was often the only source of income and employment and agency a lot of these disabled people had at the time, and still is. I mean, in India now, there is actually conjoined twins who don't want to be separated because they're the main earners for their family because of freak shows. The flip side, you also have their exploitation, their dehumanization, discrimination, and also like Elsa treating them as property, and even people who are meant to worship her. In some ways, she's presented as a good guy compared to Dell and Stanley, but at the same time, she expected adoration in exchange for her kindness. And I thought it was a wonderful metaphor for how many allies do you see for any marginalized community who are willing to stand there and champion you and say what good people you are and say, how dare you, but my God, you better be grateful.
Okay, the other thing I think was worth noting is that the freak show also gave them a sense of community, because separately they'd all be on their own dealing with the harshness of society, but because they're all together in a group, they could come together and they could form a sort of family.
Exactly, and there was a really close-knit sense there of them. They were family. They looked after each other. They looked after their own.
Yes, nobody else was going to, so that's what they did.
Exactly. I think that was made more powerful by them turning on Elsa, because the kids said, nope, Elsa, you're not one of us still.
I don't know if there's the fact that it was not one. You're not one of us. I think it was the case of, there's one rule, and you broke it. You don't kill a freak.
She crossed the line, and that was it.
They'll tolerate so many things that she does, but there's a very hard line in the sand that they're not willing to go over.
I also like the line she's saying, "I was like a mother to you," and saying, "No, what's her name? Ethel was the mother to this community, not you."
Yeah, I liked that.
Because it was true. I mean, we saw it. She was always cooking. She was nurturing. She was kind. She was very much a matriarch to that family. And if anybody took the legacy after Ethel died, it was Desiree, somewhat limited. But that also brings us to the many, 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 many problems that this did wrong. Desiree was the Jezebel for nearly the entire season, which was a terrible intersex trope as well as a black female trope. And until she finally became angry again, evolved to Sapphire. Stereotype to stereotype. And I've seen an entire season of Coven where she played that role.
It's depressing to know that they had Angela Bassett and this is what they did with her.
I know, she's but that's also the thing. They had Angela Bassett, Gadabri Sidibe, and was it Viola Davis?
Yes, and they hardly. I mean, that is some immense talent in front of them. They're all Academy-nominated actresses. All of them.
How could you underuse such talent? And this is what I said it before, I'll say it again. American Horror Story gets casts that most casting directors would kill for, and then it does this with them. Like, can you imagine what if any of our other shows got even a tenth of the talent as American Horror Story?
No, but it did make me wonder something. We know that what's her name? Oh, the actress who plays Elsa.
Jessica Lange.
Yeah, we know that next season is Jessica Lange's last season. I'm wondering if these talented actresses are hanging in, hoping that they're going to slip in when Jessica Lange leaves. Because you got Kathy Bates and Angela Bassett, both of them capable of headlining the show.
Yep.
And is it a matter of, okay, I'm gonna bide my time and see what they do?
I hope so. It will be interesting. I don't know if will it survive Jessica Lange. I hope so.
I think it can with either Angela Bates or Angela Bassett or Kathy Bates.
That's the thing.
For sure.
Because look at the talent there.
For sure. If they give them something to do, and these women are extremely talented. If you look aside from the nonsense that they've been given to do, just look how they've managed to pull it off. Honestly, this season survived because the actors and actresses pulled it just literally out of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the season survived. It certainly wasn't the writing.
Nope. But the actors, the actors sold it.
Yeah.
Which is good because it's the only thing that did compared to the treatment of people of colour, the treatment of women, because a lot of women died, and the treatment of LGBT people, which we wrote a whole post about because, my gods, it was the acting. The acting is the only thing that kept it redeemable because you'd be watching it in case of this is so terrible, and then every now and again, Kathy Bates or Jessica Lange or Angela Bassett would suddenly say, "Hey, I'm just going to own this scene."
Yes.
And you go, "Oh, well, still there is something still worth watching here." But yeah, it's gone.
And I'm glad it's gone. I won't miss it.
Me neither. So, here's hoping.
Onward.
Onward and upwards.
We also had the season finale of the Librarians this week.
Yes, I liked it. I know you didn't, but I liked it. I thought it was immense fun. I thought it was very, very silly, but in a good way. And I thought the team went really well together. I'm annoyed at how little Ezekiel was developed, but I think that the four characters had a really good rapport. And the end episode was both a wonderful callback to all the previous episodes and emphasized that team and those strengths. I liked it.
The only good thing about the season was John Larroquette as Jenkins. Not
Jenkins is the
Jenkins.
gem.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenkins or Galahad.
The only thing that made the season even remotely watchable was him. It was meh. It was fluff. I wasn't amused by it. It was kind of okay, whatever.
No,
I
I
didn't
found
invest in it. I don't care about it. I don't care if it gets canceled. Nothing.
no. You're just wrong. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. Wrong.
It's
Wrong.
useless fluff.
No, wrong. There's just nothing even to say. It's fun. It's hilarious. It's awesome. And let me say again, you're just wrong.
Fluff.
Wrong. I cannot emphasize enough how wrong you are. Because it's just fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was immense fun. Do not make me set the Christian Kane fan poodles on you.
They've already set on me for me just saying it was meh.
Yeah, how
I don't know
dare
what's wrong with you, but you're wrong. It was meh. I'm not allowed to say it was
You're
meh.
wrong. Yeah, you're wrong. Wrong.
No.
Wrong. Hang
No,
your
and I
head in
gotta say
shame.
something. The obsession with Christian Kane people, get over it. Get over it. He's cute, but he's not all that.
No, I'll agree with you there, but you're still wrong. It's fun. And I really hope it comes back. What I do hope it does is I hope it comes back without Flynn. I don't mind him coming in now and then. I don't even mind him being awesome when he does, because I kind of like the idea of this is actually the librarian. The real one, the true one. And look, he's been doing this a long time and he is really good at it. But that can only work if he's a distant figure. Otherwise it becomes a terrible Gary Stuso.
I don't think you really have to worry about it anytime soon because Noah Wiley is still contractually obligated to
Falling Skies.
Falling Skies.
Last season.
So maybe when Falling Skies is over and his schedule frees up, then
yeah, but
maybe.
If Librarians is an autumn show and Falling Skies is a summer show, and Falling Skies is over.
It's usually pretty rare to see an actor in two shows at once. I mean, it's really. I can only think of two that I've seen do it: Victoria Raoul and the actor who plays Elijah on. He's on a Canadian show and the originals, and it's funny because the Canadians want the originals to be cancelled so they can have more of him.
Greedy Canadians, bad Canucks.
Whatever, he's ours.
Bad Canucks.
So you mean you have that going on as well?
But yeah, so it's unlikely. So that'll be good because I don't think he wants it. I think cameos are the best thing for him. So now we just wait for it to come back.
At least for the next year, if it comes back, I highly doubt you're going to see a lot of Noah Wiley. No, I really highly doubt it. I mean, I can see him wanting to do this for me. He's talked before about being a father now and wanting to do work that his kids can see.
Mm-hmm.
It just definitely falls in line with the family drama type deal. And I think that's one of the things that made it so popular is that, a parent could sit and watch this with their child and not worry that they're going to see anything inappropriate.
Untoward.
Right. And it was safe. It was safe in that regard, and I get it.
Fun.
I don't find it fun, but I get it in that wanting to have a show that you can, pass on your love of sort of the genre with your kid. And I did it with mine, with Ghost Whisperer, and we still watch Once Upon a Time together, and stuff. So I get it.
You make your children watch Once Upon a Time. That's just cruel.
Actually, it used to be his favorite show until Frozen killed it. I'm not sure if he's as much of a fan anymore.
So that's cruelty.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, Librarians, fun, bring it back.
Mm. Yeah, keep it cancelled. I won't miss it.
You're just so wrong. Resurrection is the other season that's finished, and this one probably is cancelled. The cancellation base says it's nommed, and I can see why, because it took a long time to actually sort itself out this season, and I think most people just got tired of waiting for it to actually do something.
Okay, I just want to say kudos to the Resurrection writers. I
Yeah,
know that's bizarre considering the whole state of the season, but I really like the way they ended it because they did it in such a way that if this is the season finale, it's okay. If this
yeah,
is the series finale, it's okay. You don't feel robbed. But yet they left just the smallest window open in case they come back. They have some meat to work on, right?
exactly. And I like the way they've at least. I think they've backed away a little bit from the whole Messiah Devil Child meme. I mean, they've still got that open if they want to go for it, but the flip side is, I think this episode made it clear that Pastor What's His Name is not a good man.
No, he is not. Preacher James is
Yeah,
not a good man. Um, I think too, it's basically sending the message that religion can breed ignorance and intolerance, right?
exactly. And it's the certainty it brings. I mean, in the face of, let us face it, they are facing something completely unheard or completely unknown, and they don't know anything. And this is the first thing Maggie's quite quick to say as a scientist. We don't know anything. We know nothing about what's happening. We have no idea. Whereas Preacher Hoyt has turned around and said,
Preacher Hoyt, Preacher James.
no, it's Hoyt. Whereas
Okay.
Hoyt has turned around and said, I know, I have faith, this is the truth, this is what it is.
Well, I think it's interesting because the hate groups also, my religious belief these people are demons. So, I can persecute them.
Exactly, and there's that certainty there. There's no room for doubt. In this case of, nope, evil, done. Answers provided.
Hmm. Well, it allows them to twist and justify whatever their position is on the returned.
Exactly.
You know, um, so there is that. I did. In the end, I felt sorry for Margaret in the end.
I think it's because she's in her way she had her own certainties, and she's just had that challenged quite a bad, and it took Preacher Hoyt being as bad as he is that he finally looked around and said, no, I don't want to be involved in this.
Well, the thing that she valued most was her family, and she lost it.
Exactly. She
That's
lost, particularly since she made that her raison d'etre.
yes.
So, and she was an interestingly complex character towards the end, not just villainous woman is villainous.
Yes. I felt for her. Um, I don't think it should have ended that way for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did she really deserve no forgiveness from Henry? I think if the person she didn't deserve forgiveness from is Fred, because she sent Barbara away.
Yeah, you'd think Fred would have had more of but I think in some ways with Henry it comes as much because it's also Margaret, of course, and not Margaret. Oh, I can't remember her name. Henry's wife,
Lucille.
Lucille. So it becomes it. If Henry forgives, he is in some way forgiving on behalf of Margaret, of Lucille as well.
Who was all, get that woman out of my house.
Oh yeah, and she kidnapped her son. It,
Hmm.
as I can kind of, yeah, I can see that. But again, I think that it's open there because you've got one son who's already forgiven her and is pushing for it. So if it did come back, there is an opening for the family to come together again.
No, I don't want any more lengths to family drama.
Yeah. I don't think it will come back, to be honest, because I think it's run its course. I think it's pulling itself back was a bit too little, too late.
Mm-hmm.
It already lost too much of its fan base.
If you look, the ratings are a bit abysmal in comparison to where it started the season at. How it ended, it dropped so massively. And I checked the ratings for the last episode, and it really was a death knell. And
Exactly.
I think the writers sensed that and thought, okay, we're gonna at least let's wrap it up for the people who have watched this, who have stayed true.
Which I appreciate. I appreciate them turning around saying, actually, let's end it at least.
Right. Unlike Revolution, which just ended with a cliffhanger, and we're all like, what?
Yeah. Which
Right?
is, yeah, no, not. That's just kind of annoying. If you know it's going to be cancelled, try and bring it to a conclusion.
To some kind of closure, at least. There's nothing worse than investing in a show and then boom, it's canceled. You're like, well, I'll never know what happened now.
Exactly.
You
So
know?
I do appreciate that. I appreciate that they gave us a closure.
Yeah, I thought it was really respectful, although I'm still a little upset they didn't bring back Preacher Tom.
I was surprised by that. I thought they would.
I kept waiting for him. I thought when the baby's born, Preacher Tom's going to show up for sure. Look at all these return coming back.
I also quite like that Bellamy and Maggie ended up together, because it was always a will they, won't they, will they, won't they. So yeah, it's the last season. Let's leave it with a will they.
I think it was always the writing on the wall that it would happen.
It was, but they could have left it with that ambiguity. They didn't. They went there, and I'm glad, because I don't. It was all a teasing throughout the season. Make it happen.
I don't like it that it seemed that Jenny ended up living with the Langstons.
It seemed a little strange. I mean, Jenny was connected, but did it all seem to revolve around the Langstons? Like the Langstons became like central to all of them, like
Yeah,
an extended family thing.
I didn't like that. I thought Jenny and Bellamy should have been living together.
Yeah,
You know?
because it was their family, and they were building a relationship.
And it was sweet. It was
It was.
beautiful and it was sweet.
I even like the time I said, "Well, I'm the big sister, even if you're older now."
Hmm.
So I like
Yeah,
that.
that was very sweet. And I'm, as much as I think that, the writers let down the vision of a resurrection, I'm really kind of sad for Omar Epps.
Hmm.
Um, because I like him. I like his work. And I'm going to miss seeing him on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I was spoiled. He was on House for how many years, and then he came here, and I thought, okay, we got more of him now, and no, he's gone. He might be gone again.
Yeah. We shall see. I'm also interested to see what the new Return does, because it's another show set on the same premise, based on the same source material.
It may not do well simply for the fact that people are like, yeah, I'm not going down this rabbit hole again.
Yeah, and particularly if you've already watched the French one as well, it's going to be a case of, seriously, this dead horse has been flogged enough.
Well, let's face it, the Americans are not likely to have watched the French one as well.
That's true. So,
Um, but I do believe that people, it's going to have a hard road to toe.
hmm
People may not be willing to. It's going to have to very quickly separate itself from Resurrection.
But from what I understand, it's going to follow the French one
Hmm.
exactly but it's going to have more episodes. So it's going to follow the French one exactly until they run out of the material, and then they'll go their own way.
Okay.
So we shall see how that works.
Mm.
But yeah, that's Resurrection. I think we need to push on, because we
Okay.
need to address Grimm.
Oh dear. Why, Grimm? Why?
The appropriation is strong with this one, and as we said last week, it's unnecessary. This storyline could have been told without the whole, oh look, anti-Vessens are a racist hate group Nazis. Which, no.
I mean, they have the Grand Dragon.
Yeah.
And then basically they're saying, it's intolerance and interracial relationships. And you don't get to play with that history.
It is, particularly since
Especially
the
on a
people of
show that
colour.
doesn't deal with race when it comes to its own cast of color. Ever.
Yeah.
All they ever do is mine cultures of color for their monsters of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They hop to Asia and then maybe Latin America, whatever. Um, and the Caribbean with their voodoo stuff.
Yeah,
That's all they really do. The lives of the characters of color. They could be white. I mean, what separates Hank from Nick or Monroe, really?
not a great deal.
Just
So,
that he's human. There's nothing. There's nothing. Hank has no cultural markers. He's like the white guy painted black.
mm-hmm.
And Wu, if you think about it, is pretty much the same thing.
And they did something with the Aswang episode, which I appreciated, but other than that, we haven't seen much since then, and they have kept sidelining him.
And this week he was a part.
I think you've disconnected. Yeah, you've gone muted. It's okay. It's just a brief technical issue, people. We will be back here. Well, it was Wu has only just become returned to the actual. Hello.
Hi, sorry. With Wu, I just feel like it's the same thing. They haven't. I mean, beyond that, they haven't really developed him.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he did form a part of Team Epic this week.
I like that. Yeah, that was
Watching
kind
them
of
walk
awesome.
through the station, I was like, woohoo! I was feeling it. Then throwing the badges in the back of the thing, this
And
isn't
even
about belong.
Juliet.
Yep. It was good. It
It
was good.
was.
I know I wasn't the only one excited about Team Epic, which is what I'm calling them.
I'm almost excited about where it's going through now, because now Wu is part of the story more, and he has had some cultural marking with Vessen, which I'm interested in. And we finished with the Wretched Vessen Rhine storyline, so that can get out of the way. My only downside is I think we're now going to follow Juliet and the I'm a Hexen Beast storyline.
Yes, that's exactly where we're going. It's no doubt that's where we're going, and I think it's telling that Reynard was the first one that she told.
Well, I can understand that. It's not just the romance that I hope they're not going for the love triangle, but he is a Zauberbeast. And if anyone knows anything about Hexen Beast, it must be him because he is one.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see where this storyline could be good. The main downside I have about it is I am sick of Juliet in peril. I'm sick of her constant peril.
It doesn't have to be peril. It could be a way of empowering Juliet, to make her a stronger character, other than just the vet we run to. But the problem is that even if they go this way, it's going to come with a hell of a lot of Juliet angst.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody does angst and loving the attention of others like Juliet. This is all going to come back to, well, if you hadn't have slept with that woman, Nick.
Oh, don't even go. That's the thing. At the moment, it could go some really good places, but it's got a really terrible risk of going to some really bad places, including blaming Nick for being raped and lots of centering on Juliet. I don't mind centering on Juliet per se, but it's like there's Rosalie clearly out of her mind with worry about Monroe, and she's just trying to question her. It's a case of, Sarah Juliet? No. Just no.
Everything has to be about Juliet. That's why.
So yeah, I'm. Mm, it has a lot of potential to be good, but there's also a very high risk of it being poor as well. So
It's a
I'm
fingers
willing to
crossed
see.
situation,
Yeah,
and I don't particularly like Juliet's character. I never invested in her.
no,
I don't think the writers have done a good job with her. So to know that we're probably going back to focusing on her doesn't really make me happy. I mean, I'd be happy to see Juliet pushed to the sidelines and Trouble brought back, or Mummy Grimm brought back. Why do we have to
hmm
focus on Juliet?
it would be nice, but I think we'll have to see where it goes. I think we have enough time briefly to touch on Sleepy Hollow before hitting the book of the week.
Can I just add one more thought on Grimm?
Yeah.
It was really nice to see Rosalie be active. You
Yes.
know, she was in there chewing away on that guy side by side with Monroe. They've had her be very passive. I mean, she's a fox, to Monroe's, I guess, wolf.
Yeah.
So she's been very, very passive, and I'm the mixture of herbs, and I don't really get involved. And it was nice to see that if if it comes right down to it,
hmm
um, Rosalie can get tough.
It
And I
was nice
hope
to
that they
see it.
don't. I'm just sorry that it took Monroe being kidnapped to make it happen, and I hope they don't go back to having her play, the whole delicate woman routine.
It will. I hope so. It's another one of those things where, okay, let's see where we go from here. I am intrigued. Show me that you can keep doing well. You know, I think that's where we're going to be with it. I think
Yeah.
that's where I am with Grimm at the moment. Grimm's at a crossroads where it could become very, very good, but it could not as well.
Yes, that's pretty much what you have to prepare for.
Yeah. Quick note on Sleepy Hollow. I don't think we have much to say beyond stop with Katrina.
Hmm.
Really? Who reminds me so much about Juliet? Beware the passive, useless redhead.
Oh yes, beware, beware, beware.
I don't know. This was an episode that was nearly entirely focused on Katrina and Ichabod investigating a magical murderer. And by the way, why on earth did her friend way back then decide that the best way to deal with a serial killer was to magically curse him to be immortal in a painting?
Just kill him.
Were they out of nooses?
That's just it. He wasn't a magical being. He was human. Just kill him.
I'm gonna say it was also a colonial era. So you can have a trial if you want. Put him on trial. Break out your noose. Dangle, dangle. Problem solved. I mean, I don't support capital punishment. Don't get me wrong, but given the era and everything, I don't understand why magically trapping him in a painting where he can occasionally escape and stab more people is considered an appropriate response.
It's the 007 method, you know? Except he's not the hero of the show.
Ugh.
But essentially you set up this big convoluted thing so that dude can escape. Because if they dealt with him like they should have, this episode would never have happened.
And then there's the going around trying to get in this painting, and it's goes, right, Katrina, magical problem, do something magical. Do something magical. And, throw a
I
rock.
miss Abigail. I miss Abigail Adams.
Are you just looking and say, seriously? There's a murder out there. Throw a fire. You say, oh, we need to destroy the painting. Throw a fireball. Use telekinesis to slam it against the wall. Do something. You're supposed to be a witch. Do something.
Oh, it's too much.
And this is something which, I was so tired of it because it just emphasized everything that's wrong with Katrina. She's emotional, she's whiny, she doesn't achieve anything, and all the power is said, but we never see it. And the worst thing was, we didn't even have Abby around to constantly give her those vicious side eyes.
Well, again, this was really all about bringing Katrina and Ichabod together to further train wreck the show. Does anyone care
No,
if Ichabod and Katrina sleep together?
actually, there's apparently a segment of fandom. I don't say it's huge, but there's a segment of fandom which is absolutely obsessed about it to the degree that they will proper spit their dummy out if you say anything bad about Katrina, their precious Katrina.
What for?
I know.
She serves absolutely no purpose. She's the most incompetent double agent ever.
Oh my gosh, she's terrible.
And she's a wedge between Ichabod and Abby, who are the bloody witnesses.
Yep.
That's the relationship that is important. The relationship between Katrina and Ichabod is irrelevant. And furthermore, she doesn't have the sense God gave Gabbage, because let's just save the horsemen of war.
Yep. After saving the horseman of, and then she wants to save the horseman of death.
Exactly. Come on now.
When Pestilence shows up, she's going to be climbing him. Oh, my rotting love, we must spare him. Oh, so what if people are dying of diphtheria?
Oh my goodness. I really can't stand her character.
I cannot stand her. Yeah. I hate her so much. And I'll tell you, here's the damage it's doing. Fox has done something kind of weird in that it renewed a lot of its series. Like Gotham, Gotham, Empire, Bob's Burgers, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, all of these got renewed already.
Mm-hmm.
Sleepy Hollow didn't. And by its ratings, it should have done. So why did all these shows get early renewed but not Sleepy Hollow? And it's because the ratings are dropping. The cancellation bear no longer has Sleepy Hollow as a definite renew. Sleepy Hollow that's worrying. I mean, it's still very likely to be renewed, but yeah, we can't say for sure. It's putting itself in a risk zone because people are getting tired of this, and no one's interested in Katrina. And it doesn't help that the Fox News executives saying we're going to go for a more Monster of the Week feel and make it more funny.
Yeah, work. And having Orlando take to Twitter to sort of calm down the raging fans isn't working either.
Mm-hmm.
It's not working. They're not going to be pacified by that. They need to give us the show they promised us in the first season. As much as I hated the whole English of the demon thing, and I think it's all American propaganda, and, all of that shit just irks me. I at least could say there were several characters of color who were integral to the show, and that is saying something in this landscape. But they're backing away from it and not understanding that this is why people are leaving. They're not going to sit through this shit when they can watch Empire and How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal. Three shows that feature either people of color as protagonists or have a large cast of color. Why would you sit with a show that is continuing to sideline the characters of color if what you're looking to do is to see yourself represented? Get a freaking clue, Fox.
Mm-hmm. This is what made it so special, and this is what earned it so much following, and it's throwing it away.
And they've had enough. They've had enough, and they've seen the bait and switch done before with Person of Interest and Tarji P. Henson. They know where this ends.
Yep.
And they're not going to stay for it. They're just not.
I think now they have a severe chance. They need to turn it back now. This is their chance. This is their wake-up call. Calling Fox, your last chance. Stop it.
Just kill off Katrina and have done with it. Those fans will have a little bit of a hissy for a moment, but as you bring Abby and Ichabod back together, more things will happen.
Yep. I think we're going to have to move on to the book of the week.
Okay.
which is the very awesome Unbound by Jim C Hines.
Oh, I have to say, this is a reader's book. I mean, it's basically a celebration of reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have like the protagonist who's a librarian. You have weapons being able to be pulled out of all these different books and these different series. And if you're a reader of a genre, you're going to know certain characters, certain elements from other books and other series from other authors. It is literally is a celebration of what it is to love books,
Yeah.
and it has endeared me to Jim C Hines.
It's wonderful. You can feel, and as someone who has read a lot in the genre, got a lot of wonderful geeky shout outs, like Anne McCaffrey, Robert Jordan. These are all books which we've read, which a lot of us have read in the genre and recognize the references and are having a little geeky loving of it.
Mm-hmm.
These are just, this is exactly the kind of thing which is going to appeal. It's a celebration. It is a complete homage to literature.
Yes, and this is what makes it. I mean, it's part of what makes it great.
Yeah,
For me, it's a significant part. Um, but there's also the representation.
it's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got Janetta, who is a black woman. We've got Nidhi, who is Asian. We've got Lena, who's she's Asian and lesbian or bisexual. We've got Lena, who is a woman of color and lesbian and bisexual. Gutenberg and Ponce de Leon are both gay or bisexual, which was a nice little addition, which I didn't expect. I quite like their relationship, despite how it ended. And there's a lot of diversity there in the cast. We've got I can't remember her name, who was autistic, the bard.
Yes.
And she's in a position of leadership as well. We have B Way, who is Asian and at least as capable magically as Gutenberg.
I think in term it doesn't really get much better than that.
Exactly. And all these characters are fully realised. They have personalities, they have motives, they have plot lines, they have, the fully constructed characters.
At the end of the day, the one thing I'm convinced about is that Jim C. Hines gets it.
Yep. And I
I
love that.
don't approach his book with a sense of what trope am I going to see today.
It comes to it when I see one of their oftentimes when I see a minority character in this book, my first reaction isn't glee in this genre. It is, I'm afraid, worry.
How is it going to get messed up? But I don't think I go into. I trust now with Jim C. Hines between this series and his Princess series.
Yep.
I trust now that there are going to be some complex, marginalized characters. Their stories are going to be extremely relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that I trust that about a ton of authors. Maybe a handful at best.
Yep. Which I liked a lot. It's definitely on that. Yeah, I'm going to trust this. I'm going to follow this.
Yeah, and given everything that we've read and everything that we've seen, to trust is a big thing. It really is a big thing. But you can with Jim C. Hines. You can just get lost in the story without all of the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good story too.
It is, and that's another thing. I love the story.
I can't say enough about the concept. I love it. It excites my inner kid, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what it does for me.
It was really well written, really well paced, but the world building and the concept. Not only is it really imaginative, this idea of pulling out stories, elements from books, but I like in this book how it was developed. Like, this is a world where magic has been revealed, and you've got things like people saying, my child was hurt in a terrible accident. Where were you? You can do all these things. Why wouldn't you help? And other things like the sci-fi writers of America saying, well, do we have a responsibility? If we write about a super weapon, Are we actually creating a dangerous weapon? And it's an interesting fact as well. And I love this integrated world. I also love how Isaac himself grew because he was a librarian. But for most of this book, he was magicless. But he won through imagination and creativity and intelligence and being well read. And basically being quite geeky, which is kind of fun. At the same time, we still ended with this huge epicness at the end, which was also fun.
Yeah.
There's just so many elements of it really work. The story, the world, the characters, all of them.
I basically don't want to spoil it for you, but I'm going to tell you, you have to read it. Really,
It's
you
a
have to
must.
read it. If you enjoy this genre at all, and you don't start series very often, this one should be on your list.
It is. It's awesome.
This
I'm
one should
really loving it.
absolutely be on your list.
I just want to know where it goes from here. I'm actually a little concerned that it almost felt like an ending. Like, don't you dare.
I don't think that he said this is only a 3-part series.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read that anywhere. And I'm not ready for it to go. You know, I can think of a lot of the crap that should just stop being in print before seeing the Libriomancy series go. That's the truth of it. You know?
Exactly.
This works. This works. So I'm hoping. You know? And he needs to spend less time on Twitter. Why is he on Twitter when he could be writing? I'm
Yes,
just going
come
to say
write me
that.
another book. Write me another book.
I'm just going to say that, you know? And I think your social justice posts are awesome. But yeah, you could be writing this book.
Write me
So,
more books.
chop chop. Chop chop.
So
to speak.
yeah, it was good. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly I can't say more than that because yeah, it is so good.
I think you have to be careful because I don't want. I mean, it'd be very easy to spoil, and that's why I
Yeah.
want someone to have the same experience that I did.
Yes.
You know,
Because really.
that sort of. Yeah, I mean, you could just totally geek out to this, and I read it with a massive smile on my face, and I don't think I do that very often. I don't think at this point, having read so much of the genre, I am a tad cynical. I will be honest and say that. And I don't think it's often that I can just lose myself in the joy of the experience of reading the way I do with Jim C Hines.
Which is, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And hopefully we're going to be looking at something decent next week because we've got our book of the week for next week is
Fat Chickens Beware.
Yep, it is A Lady of Integrity by Shelley Adina, one of our favourite authors.
Yes.
So I can't wait. And that's going to be another wonderful thing to read. I cannot wait.
We're due.
We are due.
Books. We are, really.
Other than that, that's probably the end of the night tonight. So I hope to see everybody next week at the same time, same place. As ever, all of our reviews, recaps, previous episodes, musings, discussions, and everything else are on the blog, fangsforfantasy.com. You can also find us on Goodreads, Booklikes, Library Thing, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and through email. Do remember about the Fangs Urban Fantasy Awards 2015, where we are giving our Golden Fangs and Dread Fan Poodles to deserving works of both kinds. The nominations are still open, so do send in your nominations. Send in your nominations. We want to know what deserves credit and what deserves less credit. Yes, it's gone. So send us them in. You can send them us by comments, emails, Twitter, any of the sites we're on. We're going to collate them all into one great big mass and just keep sending those suggestions. Other than that, I hope to see you all next week. Same time, same place.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good night.